I wasn't going to do a writing vlog at all this weekend because there's just a lot of other stuff going on. I also haven't been feeling that, like, excited anymore. I had, like, that awesome moment in the last one where I was, like, so happy and excited about almost being done and, like, seeing the end and all of that. Like, I felt like I could see the end of the tunnel, and now I simply do not. But it's not a bad thing. I'm seeing all of the places that I can fix so many things in this story. But I'm also seeing things that I thought were big problems that really aren't. Like, I feel like in a lot of my other videos, I talked a lot about the side character and the issue with me not knowing enough about basketball and that causing problems with the side character who I didn't feel like had an arc. Now I feel like he just has to kind of be like his own thing, but it doesn't have to be super in-depth. His arc isn't super fleshed out, and that's totally fine. The big problem I'm having right now is the main character's arc is, like, not there. I personally had, like, a big aha moment that the story beat the, like, aha moment in the story doesn't work and what it actually needs to be. And I just thought of that now as I've been, like, going through the script and editing older scenes. And in this one and in previous drafts, it's been him realizing that he treated his friend badly and he needs to go and be there for him because he wasn't supportive enough. In this one, I'm realizing that the friend character that I'm talking about is kind of a jerk. Like, he's kind of a terrible person, and he has a great arc of becoming a better person by the end. I feel like I fleshed out the arc of the second main character so much better than the main character. I'm now realizing that the main character's big moment, which it was in, like, older drafts, so the main character needs to realize that his, like, friend character that he's kind of worshipped the whole script is a jerk, and that he needs to go after his own thing and not worry about him and not be sorry about it. And I think that's a really good arc, is him, like, becoming his own person, which is kind of what I should have been doing all along. But I guess I wasn't really understanding the story beats as I should be, that the aha moment isn't just a lesson learned, like, and then going to the climax to show that it's the lesson learned. Like, it's the whole point of the story. I think there was, like, a big disconnect between that moment and the climax. That being said, I'm still not really sure how to do that. It's really important, and I can't really finish it without that. Sometimes I say that writing is like, you write this really messy first draft that's, like, terrible and makes no sense, but you love it so much, you have such a good time writing it, and then you spend every other draft trying to get back to the magic of that first draft, but, like, in a really good story. So I found that happening to me a lot, like, rewriting stuff and then realizing it ends up being more similar to the first draft, or, like, adding new scenes and then realizing that they're so similar to scenes from the first draft. I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense for everybody, but it does for me. I gotta finish making this cake because I actually have a birthday party tonight for James, so I gotta make my man's his cake. I've had an ultimately shocking realization today that I'm going to share with you. That is that if you want to write something, a book, a movie, whatever, you need to write it. You need to put words onto a page. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like impossible, but like, I'm so upset to find that this is the truth. And it's like the only way that you can do it. And I haven't found another way, even though I have hunted. I'm honestly pretty shocked by this news, but unfortunately, writing, dialogue, description, action, whatever, all of that needs to happen. And I know it's shocking. It's shocking. It's upsetting, but it's the way that it is, which I've discovered today. Unfortunately, because I've spent so much time, like months of my life, wasted thinking about this story. And you think like, oh, you're thinking about your story. How is that wasted? Every second thinking about it probably leads to something. Okay, maybe it does. I don't know. I've spent so much time like thinking about the story, like thinking about, this is what I want it to be about. This is what I want these characters to resemble. This is what I want this character to go through, stuff like that. I spent a lot of time thinking about those things. And then I had no idea how to write that into like interesting action and dialogue. Like, I just didn't know how to do that. So I would just start writing and hope that it comes out. And then like my first few drafts were like, none of that was there. The more time I spent actually writing, deleting stuff, adding stuff in, changing things, little by little, everything I wanted for these characters, like, I started to see everything I wanted on the page, but it wasn't in the way that I thought it would be. That's good, like, I'm really happy about it, but I don't think it needed to take this long. And I think I could have gotten here sooner if I just spent all that time I spent brainstorming and journaling, writing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I was doing a little bit too much, like, of that kind of stuff too late in the process, and I should have just been writing, and I think I would have gotten to this point a lot sooner. Because now that I've been writing it, there's just so many things that are so obvious that are jumping out at me that I wasn't, like, I don't know, realizing, or, I don't know. It feels kind of like a lot to me, like, trying to get this straight in my brain, but I think I need to simplify it, because it's good, and I think I've done a good job of writing it so far. I just need to figure out how to continue this. Oh hey, didn't see you there. You totally caught me reading my library book. I'm almost done with it. This weekend on Saturday, I realized my screen time was disgusting, and I disgusted myself, so I stayed up late reading this book, which I was about to not finish. I was about to bring it to the library unfinished and return it. But someone is hungry and I need to feed him. I stayed up an extra hour reading, and then the next day I read a lot during freaking football Sunday. I'm gonna get so much work done if I keep hanging out with people who watch football on Sundays, because I'm gonna get so much reading done. I mean, not work, because I don't see myself getting any work done. Come here. I was just reading through some notes I wrote on my phone about what I'm trying to figure out in this video, which is the freaking point of my script, which is insane because I've been writing it for so long. You would think that I would know the point of the whole thing. I'm trying to figure out what the main character needs to realize so that he can grow, change, move on to the climax, and then move on with his life. I know what it is, but I'm trying to figure out how to word it so that I can write it. I feel like once I get it like distilled to a very simple thing, it will come out much easier in like the dramatic form, which is screenwriting. It's a lot about commitment, and not just commitment in a relationship sense, but commitment to yourself, commitment to doing what's best for you, and committing to leaving behind like toxic patterns, I guess, and people that aren't gonna serve you in the future. I think that is a good kind of starting off point. I was also thinking of calling the script Defense, because it's a lot about coming up with excuses and not dealing with things. And it's a sports movie, so that would be a fun little double meaning. but it's kind of a stupid title. But that's kind of what I've been calling it lately, just for me. I don't know, because it's about so many different things, and it just needs to be about one thing, especially just like the main character's journey. That needs to just be one thing. He just needs to want one thing, struggle to get that one thing, and then changes the result. It's not that hard. I know the thing I need to do right now is to open the script and start working on it and reading it and working in it, and then I will have the answers that I am seeking in my brain, but I really don't want to do any of that. But I do need to finish this book because I'm very close to finishing it, and it is due at the library, so tonight I'm gonna finish this book. If I do not get a tripod soon, I'm gonna break my camera. I just finished this book, and I was actually surprised by how like sweet and cozy it was. They're like really great descriptions of like it's like the daily life of the main characters that made it feel very homey. I don't know. I really liked it. It was kind of predictable, like it's a mystery, and I found the mystery pretty predictable. In the beginning, it did have me a little bit, like I was very excited to see what happened next, and then when I figured out the identity of her husband, it was a little bit before they told us, and the way that they told us was very like jaw-dropping, you know, like pin-dropping, and I was kind of like, yeah, I know, like I got that, which I guess is good writing because it made me feel so smart. But then it kind of, the mystery was kind of wrapped up very easily at the end, but I also kind of liked that. I really liked all the different characters and how they were connected, but someone in this book was a twin, and I think I kind of missed who the other twin was. I thought that might come up by the end, and it didn't. Maybe I need to go back and check what I missed, or check Goodreads or something. I'm gonna return this to the library and get my next book, to avoid scrolling and I guess to procrastinate my own writing. I find reading books really helpful because I'll be like, oh, I'll read a book and I'll think, oh, this was such a great story, and I can see all these like flaws with it, but it's still such a great story that I can overlook the flaws because it's just, you know, no story is perfect. And when I read a really good book and I'm like, wait, there was this and this wrong with it, I'm like, it's still really good, and it gives me a lot of confidence that I can write my own story, and it's not going to be perfect, but it can still be really good and enjoyable, even though there'll be things in it, obviously, that people will point out, like, oh, like this isn't that great, but like you did so many other things great. That's all I can really ask for, to do some part of the writing well. Not all of it, because nothing is perfect. You can't see this, but I wrote a lot in the Notes app, which I feel like is the equivalent to like when I was in middle school and high school. I used to have like the ugliest notebooks that my mom would like get me from the dollar store. Like I remember I had one I loved that was literally it was a spiral notebook with like a Christmas cover, and it was definitely meant to put like lists in, like it was like a to-do list. It was like this skinny, like it was like a long skinny, like, yeah, and I wrote so much in that, and and I would open to like a random page and write, and like the psychology of it I thought was like, I'm not putting too much pressure on it, so I'm gonna write the best stuff, because I'm like, oh, it's like an ugly notebook, I can just throw it out. I started just writing some dialogue of like, a random amalgamation, I guess, of characters talking to the main character and telling him what I hope to make the theme, I guess, of the story, or just like what he needs to hear before the climax to get him there, just to see like how that would work out. I know what character I want to do all of that. It might have to be in like 2 characters in 2 different scenes. So then once I had written that, I was able to like be like, okay, how could the character I really want to say this say all of this? And then also how could I have, I don't know, it kind of feels like a lot now that I'm looking at it and saying it out loud. I don't know. Does that even work? I guess he has to figure it out for himself. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I need to write. I don't feel like I'm a morning writing person though. I feel so like tired in the morning and not, I don't know, I just feel like in the morning I'm just very like irritable and easily frustrated, so it's not really the best for writing. The way I am doing the same thing in all of these videos, which is just making sauce. So I'm editing this video and I'm realizing that this next clip is kind of insane and chaotic and I should probably take it out, but I decided to leave it in the vlog because I think it's a really good example of how talking through the story and like what the characters are doing and feeling is really helpful. So I'm gonna be talking through some story stuff in this next clip and it's kind of hard to follow and chaotic, but I'm keeping it in because I think it really helped me figure out what to write next. So I'm really sorry if the next clip is kind of unhinged. I was kind of thinking about the hero's journey and all of that, and how I had talked about in other videos how I had kind of given like the real story beats to not the point of view character, but to like the other main character. He really goes through the most transformation. Not to say the point of view character, the main character, does not go through a great transformation. However, I was kind of thinking that like I was kind of forcing a lot of the story beats. Like the Dark Night of the Soul feels kind of forced. And I was thinking, what if I just try this? A version where I kind of skip over everything between the big disaster moment and the climax. And then it got me thinking like, what even is a disaster moment in my story? Because there's so much that happens. I don't know. Now I'm beginning to think I don't even have my story beats on straight. Does this mean I have to re-outline? I have sauce on the stove. Yeah, that's pretty offensive that I'm not using a wooden spoon. There's a scene where the main character, and the female main character are talking and he realizes, kind of known he has feelings for her, but he realizes she might also like him back and they kiss. It's his best friend's ex-girlfriend, so she's like obviously not someone he would ever think about pursuing. Is it like too late in the story? I feel like it's not too late in the story. So he has like the wrong realization. He acts on it. It goes really badly. That's good. That's like the disaster moment. Yeah, that's more in line with story structure. And then he does need to have a realization. Great, he still needs to have a realization. Me like trying to skirt over this moment. He needs to have a realization. And that will, I think, be much better if it happens hand in hand with the climax instead of happening to get us to the climax. It will get us to the climax in more of like an internal plot way and less of an external plot way. So I think I need to delve into my outline a little bit to get a handle on that. But I think talking to the camera like this has helped me to understand story structure a little bit more.